안녕하십니까 블록미디어 시청자 여러분. 오늘은 영지식 기술 쪽에서 굉장히 많은 주목을 받고 있는 브레비스의 파운더인 마이클과 함께 인터뷰를 진행해 보도록 하겠습니다. Hello, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for inviting me here, Tony.
So, could you briefly introduce yourself and Brevis for the blog media audience, maybe?
Sure. Happy to. Hello, everyone. This is Michael. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Brevis, and I'm a researcher by training. I did my PhD in computer science from UIUC, focusing on distributed system and networking, and also had years of experience in the blockchain space. So, Brevis is what we call the infinite compute layer for Web3 and really everything. What it is it's a smart verifiable computing platform that allows you to essentially turn any kind of computation you want into verifiable computing. Now, how is this useful is that it allows you to offload some very complex computation that you simply cannot do on blockchain to an off-chain environment. And in that off-chain environment, you can generate something called a zero-knowledge proof to show that the computation is actually done correctly, even if it is not happening on blockchain. And then you can take the computation result and also the ZK proof back to the smart contract in the blockchain, so that smart contract can easily verify the proof, so you can consume the computation result easily. So the reason we call it really the infinite compute layer is because you have this kind of a new cycle of compute from on-chain to off-chain and back on-chain that allows you to really expand the kind of computation you can run in your smart contract really to an infinite level. So yeah, that's just a kind of a quick introduction of Brevis. I guess just want to add one more thing is that we have, Brevis is like really widely adopted. It's not a theoretical thing. It is a real product and being used by some of the biggest names in the industry, including PancakeSwap, Uniswap, Linea, MetaMask, Euler, OpenETH, and Euro, and so many more.
Okay, so I think Pico Prism that you announced has gained a lot of attention recently. So what does this breakthrough mean or for blockchain security, scalability, and what sets it apart from previous solutions? Because there are already a lot of faster ZK, those kind of things.
Yeah. Definitely have to kind of discuss a bit more about Pico, which is one of our flagship product. It is a generic ZK VM that allows you to really kind of run any kind of a computation and generate a ZK proof, so everyone else can easily verify the proof with extremely low cost and overhead. Now we probably kind of a lot of the your audience probably have seen recent news that we launched like Pico Prism, which is the multi GPU and multi-server version of Pico. The reason it matters a lot, the main things that we now achieve a breakthrough that was not possible before, that we can prove 99.6% of Ethereum blocks in real time, and that was something that was not possible before Pico. And we're now the world's fastest ZK VM. Now, the reason this really matters a lot is because it helps the Ethereum to scale like 100 times imminently. The reason it can do this is because, like, if you think about Ethereum, right? So, like, Ethereum is a very, very big blockchain with a lot of different validator nodes in it, right? So, in fact, it has close to 1 million nodes that is running consensus for Ethereum. Today, how consensus work is that for some, for the blockchain to progress, every single validator need to achieve or reach the same conclusion about the same kind of computation, right? So let's say you're just doing 1 + 1 = 2 on blockchain. What actually happens is that this 1 + 1 = 2 computation is actually getting repeated by close to 1 million times across the entire network of Ethereum. And that is fundamentally why blockchains are, especially kind of layer 1 blockchains, are slow and expensive to use, because we're using this kind of replicated computing. Now, how do we solve that? Well, the Brevis introduces this new way to solve that by allowing just like one validator to run very complex computation, and then the validator can generate a very, very tiny proof that you can verify everywhere. Now, instead of everyone else just to redo the same very complex computation again, we just do it once and take some additional cost to generate the proof, and this tiny proof can be verified across the network easily. So this is why fundamentally this new kind of verifiable computing can actually help blockchains like Ethereum scale by 100 times, and also like reduce the cost in a very significant way. And in the future, you can even run a full Ethereum node in your phone, which was not possible before, right? So this is why I think a lot of the Ethereum community, friends are very excited about what we can do, because this is a truly breakthrough. And once we have this, you really kind of open the door for new generation of blockchain applications as well. Now, in terms of the differentiator, we can achieve this because we have some very major differentiator in our entire technical design. The Pickle VM is built in a very modular fashion that allows you to quickly evolve and optimize across the full stack, from the lowest level of cryptographic research to the engineering of the architecture of how the kind of proving pipeline works, and then finally to the GPU optimization. So this is why even we started a bit late in the entire kind of a zkVM game. We now are the world fastest zkVM, and this is why actually like a lot of our partners are choosing to kind of build with us as well.
Vitalik Buterin recently mentioned Brevis publicly because of your Pico Prism technology. So what was your reaction to that recognition? And in your view, how might Brevis's technology impact the evolution of maybe ZK VMs?
Yeah, so I think first I just want to kind of mention that I think Vitalik is generally just like attracted to good technology, and if you think about it, the title of Vitalik is like a I forgot exactly the title, but like something related to research, right? So Vitalik himself is like a very much kind of research driven as well. So we first of all very much appreciated his amplification, because we really kind of want to make sure that we are actually contributing to the Ethereum ecosystem, and his validation is something that is values a lot to us. And in fact, we actually build Pickle because we hold this very firm belief, because like we have been in the space for a very long time, right? So like we really hold this very firm belief that you can actually scale Ethereum, which is like arguably the most decentralized and secure blockchain, but at the same time make no compromises for decentralization and security, right? So that's our belief, and that's why we build like a Pickle to prove that it is very much possible. And even though there are a lot of criticism recently about Ethereum, saying that okay, like Ethereum is still very slow, and it's various different kind of the criticism, right? But like what we are actually at least proving is that there is a very tangible, very short-term kind of scaling plan for Ethereum that can help like the many kind of different applications run on it like with extremely low cost. So yeah, in terms of like Brevis impact, there's like this stream of new generation of ZK technology that is popping up right now. The first generation of ZK focuses on only just like ZK EVM, right? So essentially write very specific circuit tailored to Ethereum virtual machine. Now, what Brevis built is not exactly a ZK EVM. Brevis is building a ZK VM and a ZK data coprocessor. So it's a very generic technology that you can use it everywhere, really. And ZK EVM is, of course, one very important use case or application for the ZK VM and ZK data coprocessor we built, right? So, I think we're at this point that is a very generic solutions in the market can actually already surpass the performance of previous generation specific solutions, and this is something that is very exciting to us as well. Like we are very sure that in the future, like Ethereum is gonna gradually move to a ZK or verifier chain, verification based blockchain instead of like recomputation based blockchain, which is going to be a huge leap for the community. And once like you can prove that okay, you can let's say achieve the same kind of the TPS of Solana with like 800K nodes, I think Solana and all other blockchains that has like less decentralization will also start to converge to the same architecture, where you can essentially kind of for Ethereum, it is an improvement for scalability, but for other blockchains, it's an improvement on decentralization and security. So that's our kind of thinking in terms of like its impact on the evolution of Ethereum, but also like broadly for any kind of blockchain ecosystem.
Thank you. So the core of this breakthrough seems to be the distributed multi-GPU architecture. So how did moving away from single machine dependence enable such performance gains? And how do you see this architecture contributing to potential Ethereum layer one integration?
Yeah, so like I think this is also a very important point is that the key breakthrough of Pico Prism is that we allow a multi GPU parallelization computing. Like essentially we are able to split the one Ethereum blocks into smaller bits, and then essentially generate proof for individual bits to get in parallel, like at the same time, and then aggregate all these smaller proofs together as a single one that you can use to essentially verify Ethereum block execution and state transition. And this architecture is very powerful because it basically means that if you add more and more and more GPUs to the prover node, you can essentially scale Ethereum like larger and larger and larger. Like basically that's it. Like we never had the chance before to convert Ethereum scalability as a single kind of a money problem. Now we actually achieve that. As long as you have enough GPUs that you can use, you can essentially immediately scale Ethereum by 100 times or even 1,000 times. It's no problem. And I think at the same time that we will kind of see rapid continued kind of innovation on that front to further reduce the cost for zkVM proving cost and the computation overhead as well. So this is very critical, and I think this opens doors for a lot of future innovation.
So Brevis is now used by multiple leading DeFi protocols, and you said you are partnershiping with a lot of projects. So what are your thoughts on this adoption, and how do you see it shaping Brevis's role in this ecosystem?
Yeah, so like I think the things that if you look at our adoption verticals, right? So like it's really diverse. There are DEXs, there are lending protocols, there are yield aggregators, there's like a risk taking, there are like a chain itself, like reward distribution, there are stable token like Euro money, there's like a crypto wallet or crypto card like MetaMask card. So literally we're actually covering every possible tangible section of blockchain adoption and blockchain application right now. It basically shows the word that ZK and verifiable computing is something that is like actually very impactful, and we're going to see many of these kind of applications continue to grow. Like for example, we have worked with PancakeSwap on the dynamic fee hooks, right? So we're expanding that partnership to include more things, and that is going to be released soon. We started to work with Uniswap on the gas fee rebate. That is releasing like this week. But we're also kind of expanding that collaboration as well to include like more intelligent features on the Uniswap like exchange. So the way I see it is like once you start to understand the level of computation and the level of complex features that you can bring to your application with verifiable computing, there is no turning back. So what we will see is that more and more application will move more and more of their computation logic and business logic to the off-chain world. And we are already seeing and working with some of the major perpetual swap exchanges to bring most of the exchanges logic from on-chain to off-chain environment. And then you can essentially do the computation in an entirely ZK verifiable way. So you still get the same kind of trust level and security level as if you're running this entire thing on chain. And at the same time, you can like have some privacy features added, such as dark pool orders that were not possible before for on-chain perpetual swaps. So like in the future, I feel that my prediction is that in 5 years, we're going to see so much adoption of verifiable computing that 90% of all computation that is happening in blockchain application is actually going to happen in an off-chain verifiable setting, and hopefully in Brevis. So that's how large I think the entire kind of addressable market is for this.
Yeah. Okay. So I think a lot of people these days in the crypto market is caring about like revenue making projects and those kind of stuff. So
Of
how do
course.
you think Brevis will generate revenue from helping all these projects?
Yeah. So definitely. So like, I think Brevis is like infrastructure projects, right? So like, we build like a verifiable computing platform. So I think the first kind of a business model is that we are going to launch a prover network that is going to be a specialized roll up blockchain that allows you to essentially use the prover network to kind of distribute your proving workloads and order flow. So all the kind of transactions, all the revenues, and all the kind of a payment on auction proceedings is going to be denominated in the native token of Brevis itself. And at the same, so this is like a kind of a obviously one major revenue stream, but also another thing is that we're also building a lot of first party applications on our side, like what we recently launched, something called Incentra, that allows you to essentially build this kind of a modular reward distribution for your chain, for your protocols, using ZK powered kind of a reward distribution, continuous reward generation protocol. So we're also kind of charging like some revenue out of that. Like for example, for Linea, right? So we charge a percentage out of the total Linea tokens distributed. So like we are actually having some pretty strong traction in terms of revenue, and we hope to kind of maintain that trend and also like kind of continue to grow on that for sure. So like again, I've been in space for a long time, so like I know like how important it is to actually have a sustainable revenue for the project to actually kind of continue to grow and also expand the ecosystem. The more importantly, right? So that's something that we want to do.
So what are Brevis's main goal going forward, and how do you plan to evolve the platform?
Yeah, so like I think there are several things that are pretty critical, right? So like the first, obviously, is that we are running this proving ground user activation campaign. That we're running this user activation campaign as a like very special one compared to many of the recent kind of projects who launched the user activation campaign, right? So we're not trying to just say, oh yeah, users just go ahead and then click some a button and create some valid number for us. We don't need valid numbers. We have like solid, numbers and adoption kind of numbers that we already have. Like we have, generated 100 million plus proofs. So we have helped to distribute more than $200 million of reward. We have helped to grow like and secure $2 billion of TVL. So we don't need those numbers. What we really want to get to involve the community in is for them to really kind of experience and try and understand how ZK Power technology works. And that's like our goal of the campaign. And hopefully, through this kind of a proving ground campaign, we can, educate and, let more people experience the magic of ZK. Now, a bit longer term is that obviously we're launching our prover network very soon. So like, we will be, launching this to the public and to all our prover partners, so that we can essentially have very dynamic and very open, decentralized proving infrastructure for that. And of course, adoption, right? So like our mission, our life's mission here is to push blockchain to mass adoption. So we do see there are a lot of the future. So even though that we are actually kind of being used by so many applications now in so many different sectors, we feel this is just really the tip of the iceberg, and we are really kind of rapidly pushing on the adoption and business development side of things to kind of align more protocols like rollups, like prediction market, like InfoFi into the Brevis ecosystem, and then launch meaningful and useful features for their users. And that's something that we will kind of relentlessly work.
I think there will be definitely, I'm not sure, but there will be a token for Brevis. So I think I'm curious about where this Brevis token will fit into the market, because people are curious about where they can use maybe or for the Brevis token.
Yeah, absolutely. There is going to be a Brevis token for sure, and so the utility of Brevis token is very straightforward. Like it's used as a payment token for the prover network, and also for provers, you need to stake Brevis to receive order flow from our prover network. The more you stake, the higher chances you get selected as a prover for some of the workload that is being streamed through the prover net. So that's something that is like very much in the plan, and you will kind of start to experience the utility of Brevis very soon. as we launch the testnet of the ProverNet.
I think this will be the last question. So do you have any messages for the Korean community investors? And do you have any plans for the Korean market maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So like we know and understand the level of penetration of the entire Korean market because like based on our kind of conversation with all of our partners who are live in production like PancakeSwarm and many others, there are a very large portion of their users actually coming from the Korean market. So like if you have used PancakeSwap, you have used like many of the stable tokens, you probably have used our product already as well. Like, so we really do want to kind of raise awareness of the kind of new technology and the new product that we're building in the local market. And we already hosted a bunch of events. We're starting to kind of understand the Korean market better, and we already hosted a bunch of like events in Korea in Seoul recently, and we'll be coming back to Seoul very soon, early November as well. So we'd love to meet everyone interested in the cutting edge of blockchain technology and the very innovative product. And we'd love to definitely embrace the community.
Okay, thank you for today's interview and taking your time and for Blog Media. So I will give up a minute for the Blog Media audience and then wrap up this interview. So
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for inviting me here.
네, 오늘은 이렇게 영지식 증명의 선두주자로 구성하고 있는 브레비스의 창업자인 마이클과 함께 대화를 나눠보았는데요. 앞으로도 더 좋은 인터뷰 가져와서 여러분들께 들려주도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.